Man, what a game. Have you ever been in one of those moods where you feel like you've got nothing to play, but then a game comes along that completely surprises you and blows your expectations right out of the water? Well, that's Sable for me. I was perusing the Steam store because I couldn't figure out what to play. I went through Steam and saw this game. Instantly the art direction grabbed my attention. It was fairly cheap, so I figured why not, let's give it a go. It seems to be reviewing fairly well, but what I did not expect was how gripping, emotional and moving this game would be. Guys, welcome to my review of Sable. If you did like the video, please go ahead and leave it a like. And I just wanted to let you know that I've set up a PixelShaun Discord. Link to that is in the description below. With that out of the way, let's get into my review. The story in this game is very basic, and it almost feels like the game wants to make you fill in those gaps to create your own unique story. You play as Sable, and she's kind of like a wanderer or explorer. You aid Sable through her gliding, which is described as being essentially a rite of passage. Along your way, you will come across vast desert landscapes, giant remains of long forgotten beasts, and some truly endearing NPCs. Every piece of dialogue in this game is text-based, and there is no voice acting. However, there are dialogue options which provide for intelligent and sometimes emotional interactions. You get a true sense that the characters around you truly care for you. They have your best intentions in mind, and strangely, it made me feel oddly safe. You'll also see Sable's inner monologue as she interacts with others, and how those interactions actually make her feel. Very much the same as how you're told the thoughts of a character when reading a book. Obviously, one of the biggest praises I can give this game is its art style and its flawless animations. In the day, the world sprawls with endless colour and details. It's bright, vibrant and lively. In the dark, everything reduces to dull and muted greys and blues. Through this very simple artistic decision, the game can clearly and effectively communicate a variety of different emotions just based on what time of the day it is. There were even some areas that I visited in the dark, and I would just wait for the sun to rise so I could see the environment in full colour just to appreciate what was around me. An amazing experience within Sable is exploring the desert at night. It's devoid of the vibrant colours present in the day. It's an entirely new atmosphere, and although it's not as visually inviting compared to the day, it still holds its own unique beauty in its muted tones, stark line work and atmospheric colouring. Now, there is no combat in this game, nor is there any real threat of death. That might put some players off, or it could come across as boring as you're sort of left to your own devices. However, this is where I think the true magic of the game lies. You do get certain abilities, however, that help you traverse this world. Early in the game, you unlock a shield or force field that slows your descent, which is useful for clearing larger gaps when platforming. You also get to build and continue to customize your bike throughout the game, so the stats such as speed and handling are constantly improving. Your bike is going to be your main source of traversal in this game, so it was always exciting to be able to upgrade it and take it for a spin just to see how it had changed. Now, do be mindful that there is also a stamina meter, so you'll want to be aware of that when platforming, climbing walls and sprinting. There are also options to change your clothing if that takes your fancy. Didn't really interest me too much, but I did play around with it for a little bit. Now, you can complete this game in about 8 hours, but you could also spend so much more time in it just by purely exploring this vast, desolate world. The game does such a good job in creating an atmospheric environment that invites exploration. I spent hours just driving around on my bike, wondering what was over that sand dune. Sometimes there was nothing, other times my efforts were rewarded. This game very much leaves players alone and lets them do what they want. It's this sense of freedom and lack of hand-holding that I truly appreciated. There are missions or quests that can be viewed in your journal, and they are given to you by NPCs. However, I feel that you'll be doing a large disservice to yourself and the game if you only stick to these missions. Now, the missions in themselves aren't anything amazing and usually just revolve around getting a random item and returning it back to a certain person, and then the mission is complete. It's the experience of actually completing those missions where the game shines. The traveling to the locations, exploring the ruins of abandoned buildings. This game is very much focused on the journeys rather than the destinations. Now, Sable doesn't break any new ground in any other sections of its gameplay either. For example, there are puzzles in this game, however they are fairly generic and very easy, and they mostly involve you stepping on a button, putting a weight on a button, placing a battery into its socket to power up some kind of environment, or things of that nature. Although puzzles are a part of the game, they shouldn't be your key focus. The appeal of this game definitely rests with its story, the dialogue, and the sense of exploration and its unique art style. The music was also perfectly sublime, with a heavy reliance on simple and calming acoustic guitars strumming softly in the background and light pianos. It invoked feelings of warmth, calmness, being present in the moment, which only further added to my immersion within the game. I did run into a few bugs here and there, but nothing was game breaking. Sometimes the frames would drop or stutter, however this was actually fairly rare. The navigation marker circle around you can sometimes be wildly inaccurate, telling you to go an entirely different way when the person of interest is literally right in front of you. There's also no elevation to this marker as well, so when you're heading in the right direction, you have no idea whether that point of interest is actually high up on a cliff or lower on the ground. This did make for some frustrating times to find a person on the ground only to realize they're actually on a different plane of elevation. Lastly, sometimes the bike did act in a strange way when traversing the desert. I don't know if that was just me throttling it over the sand dunes or if the bike was actually bugging out itself. To me, Sable achieves all of its feats effortlessly. It's not a perfect game and it's not one for everyone. However, it knows exactly what kind of game it wants to be, and it is just that. It doesn't need flashy explosions or dialogue. It knows that what it has to offer will satiate the players on a deeper level, and that the content within the game is enough. Not to sound too much like a pretentious wanker, but this game just feels more like an experience. It's an experience that I would recommend to anyone who wants an open, desolate world to explore. An experience devoid of combat and death, yet will hold players' interest in new and unique ways. But guys, that's my review of Sable. Have you played it? If so, let me know your thoughts of it down below. If you haven't, are you interested in picking it up? As always, if you did like the review, please go ahead and leave the video a like as it greatly helps out the channel. Don't forget to sub and also join my PixelShaun Discord. Link to that is in the description below. But that's it for today guys, take care, stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.